China is so much more than just Beijing and Shanghai. In 2010, I embarked on a 12-day journey into the heart of the country, exploring the rugged landscapes of southern Gansu and the high-altitude beauty of northern Sichuan. From the historic Silk Road to the high-tech streets of Chengdu, this was a trip that redefined what I thought I knew about China. Imagine standing on the bridge built by a German company in 1907, crossing a river so massive it's known as the mother of Chinese civilization, all while preparing to head into the remote mountains of the Gansu province. If you ever wanted to see the side of China that most tourists miss, this is it. Our adventure started in Bandar Sri Begawan. It wasn't a quick hop. It was a full day of travel. We flew through Hong Kong, where we had a 5-hour layover, plenty of time for some duty-free shopping, before finally landing in Chengdu, the provincial capital of Sichuan. Day 2 took us even further north. We caught a domestic flight from Chengdu to Lanzhou, the capital of Gansu. This city is legendary. It's over 2,000 years old and was a major link on the ancient Silk Road. Back in the Qin dynasty, they called it the Golden City. You can still feel that history in the air as soon as you step off the plane. The highlight of Lanzhou has to be the Zhongshan Bridge. It's nicknamed the first bridge over the Yellow River. It was built in 1907 with German engineering and named after Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Standing there, watching the silt-heavy water of the Yellow River rush underneath, you realize you are standing at the gateway to the Hexi Corridor, the historical path to the west. Before the sun went down, we visited the Water Wheel Garden. These massive wooden structures, some over 16 meters tall, were invented during the Ming Dynasty for irrigation. To end the night, we hit Binghe Road. It's the heartbeat of Lanzhou's nightlife. And of course, you can't visit Lanzhou without trying the famous spicy beef noodle soup. It's authentic, it's fiery, and it's the perfect way to fuel up for the mountain trek ahead. Day 3 is where the culture shock really hits, in the best way possible. We left the city for the Liujiaxia Reservoir. This isn't just a dam. It's where you witness the yellow-green confluence, where the silt-heavy Yellow River meets the crystal-clear Tao River. We took a boat across the reservoir to reach the Bingling Temple grottos. These are 1,600-year-old Buddhist sculptures carved directly into the cliffs along the water. From there, we drove into Linxia city. For anyone who hasn't been, Linxia is often called Little Mecca because it's the center of Hui Muslim culture in China. The streets are lined with dozens of mosques and unique architecture that blends Middle Eastern and Chinese styles. We also met the Dongxiang people, an ethnic group of Mongolian descent who have practiced Islam for centuries. It's a fascinating melting pot you won't find anywhere else on earth. On day 4, we climbed even higher into the Gannan Tibetan Autonomous Prefecture. Our destination, Xiahe and the legendary Labrang Monastery. Sitting at about 3,000 meters, this is the largest Tibetan monastery outside of Tibet itself. It's known as the world's Buddhist school because of its prestigious teaching system. You can walk the world's longest prayer wheel circuit here, over 3 kilometers of spinning wheels that pilgrims use to send their prayers. To wrap up the day, we headed out to the Sangke Grasslands. It's a vast, high-altitude prairie where Tibetan nomads graze their yaks and sheep. We had a traditional Tibetan meal. Think yak butter tea and handheld mutton, and watch the sunset over the Dacia River as it winds through the wildflowers like a silk ribbon. At this altitude, the air is thin, but the stars at night are unlike anything you've ever seen. But this was only the first 4 days. As we moved further south towards the Sichuan border, the terrain became even more dramatic. We were heading into the home of the giant pandas and the oriental little Switzerland of Langmusi. But what happens when you travel nearly 1,000 kilometers into the rural heart of Gansu? Well, that's where the real adventure began. This 12-day tour was a reminder that the best travel experiences often happen when you leave the main path. From the industrial history of the Yellow River to the spiritual peaks of the Tibetan Plateau, southern Gansu and northern Sichuan offer a glimpse into a China that feels both ancient and timeless. I just spent 4 days riding horses across 3,800 meters altitude grasslands, eating apple pie in a tiny town on the edge of 2 provinces, and visiting monasteries that are almost 1,000 years old. Welcome back to part 2 of our incredible journey through southern Gansu and northern Sichuan. If you missed days 1 through 4, we were just getting started. Today, things get raw, remote, and breathtakingly beautiful. We are talking ancient walled cities, hidden sky burials, and a day in the life of Amdo nomads. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm sharing my 12-day itinerary through this spectacular region of China. Today is all about days 5 through 8, transitioning from the famous Labrang area into the deep, untouched landscapes of the Tibetan Plateau. It's high altitude, it's remote, and it is unforgettable. We started day 5 leaving Xiahe to explore the hidden gems of the Gansu Grassland. First stop, Bajiao City. This isn't just a village. It's a massive fortress built over 2,000 years ago during the Han Dynasty. It has 8 distinct corners, and amazingly, people still live inside these ancient mud and brick walls. Afterwards, we hit the Gansu Grassland, which is far less touristy than Sangke, and found a tiny monastery built right into the bottom of massive white cliffs. The highlight here was the Nekang Cave. It's basically a maze of tunnels inside the mountain. Not for the claustrophobic, but incredible if you have a flashlight. Day 6 took us to Xiu're to visit the famous Milarepa Tower. This is a 9-story building dedicated to a legendary 11th century yogi. The inside is packed with statues covering every sect of Tibetan Buddhism. You can climb to the very top for a panoramic view of the city. In the afternoon, we headed to the Secha Stone Forest. If you like dramatic landscapes, this is it. It's a massive area of jagged tabular rocks formed by thousands of years of erosion. There's actually a story that these rocks were cut by King Gersa himself. We ended the day looking over the stunning Jiuzhaigou Lake, a true gem in the grasslands. Day 7 was the highlight for many people. We ditched the bus and got on horses. We rode for over 6 hours along the White Dragon River deep into the Xiu're Valley. This is authentic travel, guys. We had a picnic in the middle of nowhere and visited a local Amdo nomadic family. We watched them herd yaks, make butter, and dry yak dung for fuel. It's hard work, but they are incredibly hospitable. By the end of this, I was pretty sore, but it was absolutely worth it. Before we moved on, let's talk about Langmusi. It sits right on the border of Gansu and Sichuan. It's a tiny town with a huge atmosphere. We visited Labrang Monastery, which is unique because it doesn't have enclosing walls. It blends right into the town. We also paid our respects at the Gedi Monastery across the river. And for a change of pace, we hung out at the famous Lisa's Cafe for some apple pie. It's a backpacker staple in the region. On day 8, we said goodbye to Gansu and drove into Sichuan. Our first stop was Huahu Lake, a massive wetland known for its black-necked cranes and flowers that grow right under the water. Then we drove through the vast Xiu're grassland, a truly boundless prairie. The day ended with a visit to the first bend of the Yellow River. It's mesmerizing to watch this massive river turn back on itself. We capped it off with a visit to the Waki pagodas to pay our respects before heading to our final stop in Chuanchusi town. If you are looking for a trip that challenges you, introduces you to a culture that has existed for centuries, and shows you landscapes that seem out of this world, this is it. We covered the hardest, most remote parts of the trip, but we still have a few days left. Day 10 brought us to the main event, Jiuzhaigou National Reserve. There is a famous Chinese saying that goes, "No mountain is worth seeing after Mount Huangshan, and no water is worth seeing after Jiuzhaigou." And let me tell you, that saying is true. We took special cars into the reserve, and the scenery is just unreal. Pristine lakes, massive waterfalls, all nestled in a virgin forest. It was a sunny day for us, which made the colors absolutely pop. It truly is a photographer's paradise. After a full day of exploring, we didn't just head to the hotel. We took in a local performance of songs and dance. It was the perfect day to wind down and immerse ourselves in the local Tibetan and Qiang culture of the region. Day 11 was a reality check on how massive this region is. We had a long drive back to Chengdu, over 450 kilometers. It takes about 8 hours, if not more. We did make a really nice stop in the ancient town of Songpan for lunch. It's right on the banks of the Mianyang River, and it gave us a chance to stretch our legs before the long haul back to the city. On the drive back, we passed through Mianyang, a city that was devastated by an earthquake years ago. Passing through there really put the trip into perspective. Seeing how the town was completely rebuilt in just 2 years was inspiring and showed us the true resilience of the people here. Day 12 was all about the journey home. We flew from Chengdu to Hong Kong and then caught our flight back to Bandar Sri Begawan. It's always bittersweet leaving, but these 12 days were truly unforgettable. From the high altitudes of Huanglong to the crystal lakes of Jiuzhaigou and the urban energy of Chengdu, this tour covered it all. If you enjoyed coming along on this journey, please hit that like button and subscribe for more travel guides and adventures. Have you been to Sichuan? Let me know in the comments what your favorite spot was. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye!